Today I thought I'd talk a bit about how you can decide whether or not to pursue a patent for an invention. Because the thing is, patenting an idea is both time consuming and expensive. So you want to make sure that you select the right inventions to try and obtain patents for. So any decent inventor worth his salt will have a notebook full of ideas. I know that I've got pages and pages of notes of things that I thought seemed interesting or useful or clever. Some of them later turn out not to be so interesting or useful or clever. But the thing is that coming up with a new idea and coming up with a new concept is not enough. It's not just a matter of having an idea that is non-obvious and novel, referring back to the previous videos on patenting. It's also got to have some kind of commercial relevance, otherwise you're wasting your money and your time. So I can give two examples of blockchain ideas that I had, one of which I didn't pursue and one of which I did. So the first one was the idea of having rotating proof of work schemes for a blockchain. The idea being that you could stop the miners' arms race that you get in, for example, Bitcoin, where a single scheme is used for the consensus system, the find a double SHA-256 hash of the block that is below a difficulty target. So I had this idea that what if you had a number of different hash functions and a number of different times you had to apply them, and you rotate through them based on hashes of previous blocks. So the blocks are kind of random number generators, and as a result you could have any number of proof of work schemes and randomly select between them, or pseudo-randomly select between them based on the data that was previously appended to the blockchain. Now, I think it was quite a fun idea, but I couldn't see how I could do anything commercial with that. So it's just sitting there in my notebook and I haven't done anything with it. For contrast, a concept that I have a couple of patents, actually 3, soon to be 4 I think, on, is transferring the idea of issuing credit cards and cancelling or revoking credit cards to the blockchain. So the idea there is that you cannot transmit coins to an address that has not initially been issued. That's a bit like you can't send money to a bank account that doesn't yet exist, and you can't spend money on a credit card that hasn't been issued by a credit card provider. And then associated with that is the idea of being able to cancel blockchain addresses, and that's a bit like revoking a credit card. So the idea there is that once you finish using an address, you can actually effectively say no more, nothing can be sent to this address anymore. And I think that would solve some of the problems you see, for example, in Bitcoin, with coins going to random addresses that aren't held by anybody, or addresses where the coins can no longer be redeemed, like the one that has as its private key the number 0. So that one, I thought, yes, that has some commercial relevance. It's the kind of thing that, for example, in the future when banks wake up and actually start paying attention to blockchain, they might be interested in actually licensing or even acquiring a patent related to that technology. So there you go, 2 concrete examples of when and when not to patent an idea, and hopefully you found it interesting to think about this particular aspect of patenting. I'll see you in the next video soon. Bye for now.